ॐ अज्ञानतिवृन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहैतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 14, verse number 49. So we just completed studying the prayers of Sri Brahmaji, called Brahma Stuti to Sri Krishna, and after reciting the prayers, Brahma did not get any response, verbal response from Krishna, only the silent response he got, and he understood the silent message. Sometimes silence is more powerful than speaking. So that's what he got. They call it silent treatment these days. So that's what Brahma got, Silent treatment is also coming from the olden times. So then he left, and now King Parikshit, he asks a very pertinent question, and this is like the juice of the whole stuti which comes now, what Shukadeva Goswami will speak. So this is a very nice question. This shows what a good question is. We talked about questions. So this is a wonderful question which he raises.
I think we did not read 48.
Hmm?
I think we didn't read the verse number 48 last time.
We didn't read 48. Yes, I read that. No, we read 48. So, yes, where is the question? You who can read the...
I can read it, but maybe...
Yeah, you can read because...
They can... So.
Okay, who was asking it? Vivek?
Yeah, he was asking me, can he try now?
Yes, okay. Am I audible today?
Not good. I think there is something wrong with your system.
Yeah,
I can hear your sound, but it's difficult to understand what you are saying.
Okay. So I can do the questions.
There's some kind of like reverberation.
Okay. I think I need to change my...
I can read it.
Okay, Malati can read the question.
Okay, so the first question is, the reason for Brahma circumambulating around Krishna only thrice and not 4 times. What was that?
He was in a hurry. When you get silent treatment, then you don't want to be there so long, you want to get away. Because you don't know what he can do next. He understood that he is upset, so he says, I have to give my respect. So let me do it quickly. And when you are disturbed, in a disturbed state of mind, you forget counting. So, right? If you don't have your japmala with you, you will forget how many times you have chanted the mantra, right? So that's why he did not have, maybe he dropped his bead bag somewhere. Generally Brahma has also one japamala in his hand. So he did 3, but he thought he has done 4. Then he left. That's my guess. Okay, question number 2.
And number 2 is, from Monday class, where it was explained that Raga and Dvesha are Mahachor, because they take away our wealth, buddhi, but for devotees, Raga in relation to Krishna and Dvesha against things which are against Krishna are good. Does it mean that Dvesha against things, place, and people who are against Krishna is good?
Yes. So this is a very important question if you can understand. That generally our raga and dvesha in the material world, when we are identifying with the body, they are related in relationship to our body. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, indriyasya artha raga dvesha vyavasthitav. He says that every one of our sense has got its own raga and dvesha. Like you like certain type of food, you don't like another type. You like certain smells, you don't like another ones. You like certain scenery, pictures, movies, others you don't like. Sound, some music. So some people like hot weather, some people like cold weather. So touch. So he says that everybody has got their own raga and dvesha, but because they are in relationship with our body, therefore they are not spiritually conducive. So therefore Krishna says, Tayorna vasam agachet tauhi asya paripanthinam. That one should not become controlled by them. Why? Because these two are the obstacles to our spiritual life, to our devotion. Paripanthi means which creates disturbance on your pantha, on your path, on your way. Like sometimes they have what you call as speed breakers, especially here in India. So you are going smoothly and then suddenly speed breaker, and sometimes these speed breakers are not speed breakers, they are like car breakers. They make them so high that you have to really stop. Otherwise you'll jump 2 feet above the ground. So that it is called paripanthi. Speed breaker means, in Sanskrit it is called paripanthi. So they stop you, they are obstacles. Why are they considered as obstacles? Because they will only fortify your bodily concept of life. If your senses like something and your senses don't like another thing and you follow that, then you will become a slave of your mind, because you will be busy pleasing your senses. And that's how your whole life will go. So that's why Krishna says that tam titikshasva bharata agama paino nitya. That these things come and go, you just tolerate that. Sukhe dukhe samay kritva. So remain equanimous in different situations. But when it comes to raga and dvesha for a devotee or on the path of bhakti, then the whole equation changes. So now the center of raga and dvesha is not my body, my senses, but it is Krishna. Means I like what he likes and I don't like what he doesn't like. This is the meaning of becoming one heart. Right? If you love somebody, what do? It naturally happens. If you love somebody truly, these days these are words without much sense behind them. But if you truly love somebody, then you do what the other person likes. You don't do something which the other person. The other person means the object of your love. So even materially it is seen like that. So that means now your own raga and dvesha has become placed into the object of love. Right? So your raga and dvesha take a different definition now. They are not defined by your own senses. And that's why love is the highest human psychology. Because if you truly love somebody, then you have to understand the mind of that person. That's why you have to study Shastra, because if you love Krishna, you have to understand his mind. Otherwise, how will you know? You will say, I love Krishna, I want this bhav, I want that bhav. So how will you want? You don't want to do something, you act according to your own raga and dvesha, which he doesn't like, and then you want his bhav. So how will this match? How will this work? Simply sitting and thinking it will happen? No, you have to do a lot of hard work. You have to actually change, you have to forget about yourself. So this is what Brajvasis are. This is what he says, Yad dham arth pride atmatanya pranashyastvat krite. Brahma said that their life, their prana, their tanya, their children, ashaya, everything is for his sake. Means if my hand functions in his favor, then this my hand is my hand, otherwise it is not my hand. I don't need this. If my son acts favorably to Krishna, then he is my son, otherwise he is not my son. It's like when your son does not act favorable to you, then you disown him. If your wife is not favorable to you or your husband is not favorable to you, then you have a breakup, divorce. So that's what happens to a devotee. So therefore devotees, everything changes. All his bhavas are now coming from bhakti, which means surrender to Krishna, love for Krishna. So if he gets angry, he does not get angry because something is problematic to me. He gets angry because it is either disturbance to my relationship with Krishna, or it is disturbance to Krishna, or disturbance to things related to Krishna. So that's what Brahma is saying. Tavad raga devastena, tavad karagriham griham, tavad moho angri nigadam, yavat Krishnana tejana. So that is the meaning of saying that they are your people, they are your devotees. Means now they are not centered around their body. And this is the whole thing which will be spoken now by Sukadeva Goswami in response to Parikshit's question. Because this is the shift which happens in bhakti. So all the emotions, what you study in Rasa-shastra, all these anubhavas, sanchari bhavas or vyabhichari bhavas, 33 of them. So all these things, they manifest now not because of something which is feeling good to me and I go in ecstasy. No. It's all centered around Krishna. So that is the meaning of that sloka. Is it clear? Any other question? Anything else?
Babaji, maybe this is going too far, but I was just wondering if you feel that if it's not such a person, wouldn't like a modern psychologist label this person as codependent? Would a modern psychologist label these persons as codependent?
Yes, he will label it because modern psychologists have no idea about bhakti. And codependency, actually I wanted to write an article not long ago. I started but never completed. So modern people will think it is codependency because that's what they know. And they cannot understand that there is something higher. They will think that all these gopis are codependent. That's why these Indologists, they all the time attack Hinduism, that women in India were suppressed, they were not given freedom and they are all controlled, because they don't understand. And they cannot understand. It's not possible for them to understand. I really also don't blame them. It's only that they have the pride that they understand. And this is the most dangerous thing. When you don't understand but you think you understand and then you start advising, that becomes a dangerous situation. And that's what has happened actually, that now Indians are confused because they look towards West and these Western scholars as if they know our Shastra, but they don't practice and they have not studied under any traditional guru. How will they understand? So, satona jnanam syat. So, it is not possible. It's just not possible. They cannot understand unless they have actually studied under some traditional teacher. Then then it is possible. Otherwise, it's just not. Anybody who will become a scholar by studying the modern system will never understand the Shastra. Even if they write papers, translate books and look very impressive, they will not get the point. I have seen it personally. I have met such people. It's actually a miracle if some can understand even by studying properly. So Tvapino evam Veda Kasyat, Krishna himself says it's Ascharya. Ascharyavat Pashyati Kasyadenam Ascharyavat Chainam Bhakti. So it is not an ordinary thing. Why it is stressed that one should approach a teacher and serve and then study? Why Krishna says, you think he does not know the human mind? He knows. Otherwise, like Arjuna says, Sishyasteham shadhivam tam prapannam. I am your disciple, please instruct me. But I will not fight. He already puts his condition. Na yotsaite govinda uktva tushnam bhaghuva. One line before he said, I am your disciple, please instruct me. But I will not fight. So then how are that you are my disciple? You already said you are not going to do what I want you to do. In fact, I came to drive your chariot because you said you are going to fight. Now you say you will not fight. Why the hell did you bring me here? Now you make me the guru and you say you don't fight. So this is the mindset of human beings. It's nothing to do with modern or anything. It was already there. Arjuna is not a modern human being. This is human mind. It works like that. And more so at present, where this thing has been fortified by the whole lifestyle, modern lifestyle. So then it becomes very difficult to understand what is being described here. So they are all codependents according to them. That's why somebody wrote, I forget the name, says that the relationship between Vivekananda and his Guru Ramakrishna Paramahansa was homosexual. He wrote a book on that. So how can they understand the relationship between disciple and guru? For them it will look like homosexual. Because why this guy is always hanging around him and he didn't get married. Right? Vivekananda did not get married. He was a young man, beautiful. And he is so devoted to his guru, he must be homosexual. So this is the depth of their understanding. And then everything they applied, the Freudian psychology, Ganesh has this thing, this whole story. It's a competition. It is Oedipus complex. Because Ganesh got the head of elephant because he stopped Shiva going inside. So he says this is Oedipus complex because it's fight between father and son for the mother or for the wife. The son also wants and the father also wants. So they fought and father was victorious. So he chopped off his head and then he put elephant head. And then why elephant head only? This is their analysis because elephant has the trunk. He says this signifies a what you call penis hanging. Yeah, this is the analysis. So it sounds very good. And now you tell this to modern Indian, they will be in awe and say, oh, these people have really understood.
There's another question, Babaji, from Andana. I'll read it. She's asking how to behave according to Krishna's wish. Even Brahmaji could not know him.
So now you follow the Guru. So that's why I already said that you have to have a Guru and you follow the instruction of Guru. Otherwise you will think, okay, Brahma could not understand, so who am I, so I'm fine. That will be another way of escaping. Because mind doesn't want this. This bhakti is anti-mind, It's a problem for the human mind.
What was the meaning by codependency in English?
Codependency is this modern psychology term where a person likes to serve others and does not care for oneself. He looks like a very good devotee from devotee's point of view. But actually this is a way to control others. A codependent person looks like a very good devotee because they will sacrifice and they don't, take care of their own self, and they are serving others and taking care of others. But this is just a way to get control and appreciation from others. That is the inner mentality.
There the hidden intention.
It's a big psychological, what you call, category of, right? One of the 3-4 categories, whatever. So, can we move, or somebody has more questions? So Parikshit Maharaj, Sri Raja Uvacha, Parikshit Maharaj, he asked question. Brahman parodbhave Krishne yan prema katham bhavet yo bhut purvastokeshu sodbhaveshu api kathyatam. So king asked the question that, O Brahman, Sukadeva Goswami, please explain to me that how is it that these Vrajvasis, they had such prema in Krishna who was not their own son. Parod bhave Krishna iyan prema katham bhavet. So iyan prema means this intensity of love which was more than their own children. Abhut purvas tokeshu means they did not have this type of love towards their own children. He is talking about this Brahma Mohan Leela when Krishna expanded himself as the sons of the cowherd people, as his friends. So now they were loving their own children more than what they loved their own children before. So that's why it says Abhut Purvas Tokeshu, that not as they had their own children before Krishna manifested and became their children. So why they had more prema like this? Svodbhaveshu api, that even those children who were born from them, they did not have love like this towards them as they had towards Krishna. So generally it is seen that you naturally have love and affection to your own children, and you cannot love anyone else's child like that. So mother gives birth to the baby. Baby is in the womb for 9-10 months. It's part of her own body. So there is a natural feeling towards that. And that feeling cannot come for someone else who is not born from her. So how is that they had more love towards Krishna? This is the question. And this is a very philosophical question, because the juice of Brahma's prayers will come as a reply to this. This is what it will establish, that why Krishna prema is the goal of life. Otherwise one can say, what is wrong with self-realization? I realize my own self, and therefore I am not attached to my body anymore. So then why that Krishna prema is superior to moksha? Prema pumartho mahan. Why is that? Why should it be better than just attaining moksha? So that's the question which will be answered here. That's why this chapter is so important, because it brings out the speciality of Bhāgavatam and speciality of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti, he comments, Vrajoksham Svatokeshu Sneha Valyabdam Anvaham Sanair Nisima vavridhe yatha krishne tva purvat. So this is a sloka which we cite from previous chapter, 26th verse. This is when Krishna has expanded himself into cowherd boys. So then he says that Vrajoksam Svatokeshu Snehavalyabdam Anvaham Sanair Nisseema Vabridhe. That the love of Vrajvasis in their own children, for 1 year it kept on increasing without a limit, as it was in Krishna. As they had love for Krishna, so now they had similar love for their own children. So he says that ityadina svatokebhyo api parputre krishne premadhikyam vyanjitam. So by this it is implied that their love for their own, for these children who were Krishna, was more than their own original children. And therefore, why is it that it happened like this? Tatra pritchati brahmaniti. So it is on this that the question is being raised. Because Parikshit Maharaj was a king, he had also children. He has his kingdom, he loved his children. So he is thinking that how was it possible that I loved my own sons, and how that I could love somebody more than that. Parodbhave nandaputre swaudbhaveshu swaswaputreshu api yah prema abhutpurva brahma mohanat purva na bhuta. So he says this son of Nanda Maharaj, who is born to them and not to them, so how is that the prema was more than their own children? So that is before Brahmohan Leela. Loke hi ati gunvattamadapi parputrat gunhine api swaputre premadhikyam drishyate iti ato lok viruddhatvad idam prichyate. So he is saying that in the world it is seen that even if there is someone else's child who has many good qualities, and then we have our own child who does not have those qualities, still we love our own child more than the other child. Even if the other child is more beautiful, smarter, well behaved, and our child is not that beautiful, not dull and maybe very, impatient, not well behaved, still our child is our child. We have love for our own child. So how is that something different happened here? It says this is lok viruddha, this is against the experience of people, and therefore this question is being asked. So you see sometimes some kids, children, and you may not like them. Either they are not very attractive or they are not, well behaved, very naughty, causing noise here, there, disturbance. So it may be like that to you, but to their own parents, that child looks very attractive and very beautiful. I remember long ago when I was in Detroit, there was one man and he had his, I think, grandchild, small, just maybe few months old, and the baby was not that beautiful. But he was telling me that, look how beautiful this child, doesn't he resemble Bhaktivinoda Thakur? Yeah, I still remember this. So he was seeing Bhaktivinoda Thakur in that child, I could never imagine that. He was seeing that. Because the baby was little chubby, So I still remember this statement. In fact, we were just outside the temple. So I was so surprised to hear that how you see, your own children and how you see the children of others. So this is what he is posing a question here. That how did this happen? So this shows that how the love for Krishna is superior than anything else. What is this?
Now the internet broke.
Hmm?
Now the internet interrupted. Okay, back.
So Sri Shuka Uvacha. Sri Sukadeva Goswami, he replies. Says Sarvesham api bhutanam nirpsvatmaiva vallabha itre patya vittadyah stadvallabhatayevahi. So he says that, O king, for all living beings, one's own self is most dear. So by self here means the body, because that's what we think of, our own self. So this sloka is also similar to what you have in the Upanishad, Yagyavalkya's famous statement, Navare patyu kamaya pati priyo bhavati apitu atmane kamaya. So that is also indicated here. So he says, Itare apatya vittad adyas tad vallabhatayevi. Because we like our own body, Atma here means body, means of course body along with ourself, which is there in it. But that's what we think of our own identity as our this body. And he says everything else, whatever love we have for other things, it is only because of our love to our own body. Whether it is apatya, children, vitta, wealth, or any other possessions. So because we have attachment, liking, raga in our own body, then in relationship with that, we have attachment to things which are related to the body. And then if we don't have attachment to body, sometimes people commit suicide. Then you think they will have attachment to their children, wealth, nothing. They are ready to give up their own body, then where is the attachment for? So the attachment or love, whatever you call, for anything else is actually based in relationship to the body only. And more things are related to your body, more intimately they are related to your body, then more love you will have for them. So children are most intimate, so then you have attachment for that. But sometimes people don't like children, they like their husband, wife, partner. So then it's also in relationship to one's own body, because you derive more pleasure. It's basically why you don't like children and you like wife or husband, because your body or whatever, yourself is deriving more pleasure from that other person. So then you neglect the children. So then you can put the children in the next room, even when they are 6 months old, put in the what you call crib, and let them cry. This is the tradition now, that children should be put in a separate room and they can cry, and husband and wife sleep together. Such a child is not more important. Crying does not disturb their heart. Sometimes they even take pleasure in seeing this. Oh, he's crying. Let her cry out. And then they enjoy themselves. So this is also saying that Swatma eva Vallabha. So Sarvadehinam, Sarveshamapi Bhutanam Nripa Swatma eva. So Swatma eva Vallabha. Eva means only. Means the only object of love, attachment that we have is actually our own body. And then everything else in relationship to that. But the real thing is only our own body. And if our relationship to the body or object which is not giving any more pleasure to my body, then I drop that. So that's the meaning of this sloka. So this is for the people, he is first speaking for the people who are ignorant, who are not in knowledge of their true self, the inner self, the Atma, the real Atma. So he is taking this as an example to now bring you to a higher level of understanding. Because this example people can understand. And from that he is going to extrapolate why they had more love for Krishna. This is the process. Because to understand this, that one can have more love for Krishna is very difficult. Even if we hear it and even if we talk about it and we have ideas, to really have a feel for it is difficult. Therefore, first feel this, which we have an experience of it, and then you can do an extrapolation. So the commentary says, Bho Rajan mamataspadaebhya putradibhya sakashad ahantaspade atmani premadhikyam iti lokariti pratham drishyatam. So it says that, O king, first understand that we have two types of identity, or identity and then things related to. One is what is called ahantaspada, means the object for which we use the word I. So that is called ahantaspada. And then there are things for which we use the word my. So they are called mamataspada in Sanskrit. So where do we use our word I? For what we use our word I is for our this body. You say this is I, or I am this. When you introduce yourself, you introduce this body as yourself. And then if you have wife, children, possession, then you say this is my son, this is my wife, this is my house, this is my car. So those are all my. And this is the only I. So I is only one thing, and my are many. So our primary object of love is the I. That's why we don't speak without I. I is the most common used word in our language, in our conversation. And then next is my. So obviously the love is more in I and less in my. And my is only for the sake of I. My does not have an independent existence. As soon as you take out my from these objects, then they have no value for you. The value for these my objects is as long as you consider them as long as your I is there. As long as you have put yourself into those things, then they have value to you. If you take out yourself, then they have zero value for you. If you have a house, it may be very wonderful, beautiful, and you take care of it. You sell it to somebody. After that it catches fire. It doesn't make any difference to you anymore. But if it got fire when you are still the owner of it, you will feel so much pain. So the same person who may be your partner, wife, husband, anything, you are very much attached, then you get divorced, Then you have extracted yourself from that person. Now something happens to, okay, maybe for formality's sake you may say something, but other than that, you don't care. May have been people who were your, boyfriend, girlfriend some time ago, and you were completely intimate with them. Now probably you don't even think about them. You don't know what is happening to them in their life. You don't really care. They live or die. But if you go back in time, when you had relationship with them, then you realize that how your life was completely involved with them. You did not move without them. So what is the difference? Because now that I, the ahantaspad, that object of I is not related with anymore. You have extracted yourself from that. So that's the whole thing. And this all my thing is only in the mind. There is nothing external. By seeing your car, nobody can say that this is your car or somebody else's car. You only say this is my car. If you go to the parking lot, you come out after shopping and then you look for your car, nobody can say, okay, oh, your car is there, I know this is you or this person, this must be your car. At least with children maybe some similarity is there. But car is nothing, it's just in your mind that this is my car. Somebody gives you money for it, and then after that a big truck comes and rams into it. You don't give any attention to that. It makes no difference to you. You may be even thinking, oh, it's good that it happened after I got the money. If the same thing happened yesterday, I would be in big trouble. So why is that? Because now there is no I in it. So this is what he means, that Sarveshamapi bhutanam nripsva atma eva vallabha. So vallabha, the word vallabha means the object of love. So object of love is only your atma. And now at the present state, atma means mind-body complex, this unit of mind-body. But it's truly the inner self which is the object of love, that he will come. And then from there will come that actually Krishna is the real Atma of Atma. Atmanam akhilatmanam. So that is what he is doing. So he says that he is prathamam lokriti pratham drishyatams. That first he is seeing as people's experience. And tataeva asya siddhanto bhavishyat. And from there he is going to lead to the siddhanta, the conclusion, which is actually the conclusion of this book. Then he will come to that. So sarveshamiti panchabhi. So Sukadeva Goswami speaks 5 slokas to answer this question. So Vallabha Loka Drishtya Atyantik Priti Vishya. The word Vallabha means that which is the object of ultimate love according to the material world. Not according to the spiritual understanding. Lokriti means as per common understanding. That's what Lokriti here means. That as per common understanding, general people who are not educated in spirituality, so their ultimate object of priti, love, is this one's own body. And sacha prati deham eka eka eva. And this is one in each body. So Atma is there in each body. And that Atma is actually the true object of love. Because even this body we don't love without Atma. If I get something in my finger and doctor says that this is poisonous, you better cut it, otherwise the rest of the body will also become poisonous, then I say okay, cut it. Or hand or legs, sometimes people get their legs chopped off. So what has happened now? That now your Atma has shrunk. You have removed your Atma even from your leg or from your hand or finger, and you are ready to get rid of that part so that you can protect the rest of the Atma, which you consider now as your other Atma. So that shows that actually the love is also not for the body. If it was, then you will say, no, I cannot lose my leg. Even if it is poisonous, so what? It is my leg. No, you will pay money to get it cut actually. Right? So that very leg or hand which you loved so much, now you are ready to pay money to get rid of it. Why? Because you want to protect yourself. So that means that leg is not self anymore. And such is the case with the whole body if you see it. So the real object of love is the inner self. And that is what we are, and that is what we really love. And even in the bodies we see that if Atma leaves the body, then nobody loves that anymore. Because even when you say that I love this person, although we talk about the body, but if the Atma leaves, then body without Atma nobody loves. Then you want to get rid. If somebody dies and you have to sleep in that room with the dead body, you will be scared. Right? Although what dead body can do? Nothing. But you have fear from the dead body because there is no Atma anymore. The very object which you loved has gone. So now what is remaining, you have no love for that. Just burn it, throw it, dispose it as quickly as possible. Get out of the house. So that shows that the love actually is for the Atma and not for the body. But because we do not have the understanding of this distinction between the two, so then we mistake one for the other and we deal with the body as if the body is the self. But since body is not the self, then reality comes out on certain occasions. So then we understand. So therefore he says, Sacha pratideham eka eka eva, that there is only one in each body and not tathanya, not that one is two. Even if you say we are two bodies, one heart, all that type of statements. So still it is only one separate. So tad Rajendra yatha sneha swasvaka atmani dehinam na tatha mamtalambi putra vitta grihadesha. Therefore Sukadeva Goswami says that, O king, therefore the way one loves one's own Atma, and here again Atma refers to body because he is speaking for people in general. Atmani dehinam, that those who are embodied beings, as they love their own self, as their own body, they don't love in the same way their son, wealth, house, etc. So why? Because the love to all these things is only in relationship to the body and not independently. So he says yatha nirupadhika. He does not give much comment on this sloka. So what he says that the love for your own self is unconditional. And love for everything else is conditional. So it says yatha means nirupadhika sneha. Unconditional means that it is natural. It is not because of certain situation. It is not because of some training. It is not because of some moral principles. Some parents may love their children, take care of them because it is moral or it is religious or it is a social convention. Otherwise really they don't care. But love to yourself is not like that. It's not dependent on somebody else is saying something or what they will think. No, you naturally have love for yourself. And that is the only love which is nirupadhika, which is not based on anything else. And the love for others is therefore not nirupadhika but sopadhika. It is because of our attachment to the body, and then those things which are related to the body and they give some satisfaction to the body, which includes the mind, so then I love them. If they turn against my body or my mind, then my love will start diminishing. But that would not happen to your own self. You can never give up love to your own self. Even when people commit suicide, they are not that they don't love their own self. They still love their own self, but they are in a situation or they have some crazy mood. Sometimes people just are crazy, they cannot think properly, that they do this. But their own self they still love. They are so frustrated with the situation that they think that they are going to become free from this trouble. They are still trying to do it for their own self. They think that their own self will be free from the trouble, even if they don't believe in next life. Otherwise, why are they doing it? Means they cannot take this trouble, the situation anymore. So still they are doing it for their own self. So even when people sacrifice life, because sometimes people also sacrifice their life for others' sake, for country's sake, that is also because they are identifying so much with that person, not independently. So that is the difference. So, according to the intensity of your relationship with these objects which are mamtaspad, which you call as my, then that much love you will have for them. Means as deep is the relationship with your I, with my, that deep you will have the love. Because outside also we have many friends, relatives, objects. We don't love them equally. Some we may love more than others, or some objects we may have more love for them, more precious. So why is that? Why is this distinction? It depends how much the I is having intensity of relationship with that. For whatever reason, thinks that this person is giving me more pleasure or it is more valuable to my I, so that much you love that thing. And sometimes you put your I into other than for the sake of your ahankara, that if I do this then my name will be known. So then you do that. So it is also for I. Like people give charity and they want their name plate. So they are not doing charity because they want to do charity. They are doing charity because they want their I to be seen in golden letters. Or my name should be known after I die. So that is also for the self. Because they don't understand that your name and you, these both are temporary. This name and form don't really belong to you. But that's how it is. So any question on this?
Babaji,
Yeah,
I have a question.
go ahead.
Okay, so my question is that, so I mean, I don't know if I'm jumping a little bit more. So if a materialistic devotee treats Krishna as a person who supplies the needs for his body, so it's a upadika bhakti, then the question is, would that create as much absorption Avesh in Sri Krishna, because he is now related to the body and very dear to the body, and the body is very dear to me. And because Sri Krishna is always supplying needs to me, so then would that create Avesh in Krishna, just like, for example, Shishupal had this Dvesha because of his body towards Krishna? Would that create such a strong Avesh in Krishna?
So why you are now bringing two things? Shishupal is not a devotee.
Yeah, so he had this Dvesha how because of his body. So
Yeah.
I'm just thinking if the opposite is true, that because of his body, is it possible to
You are
have
talking about Shishupala, you are talking about a devotee who is getting his needs fulfilled. These are two separate things.
a materialistic devotee who is getting his needs fulfilled, can he have a very strong avesha? Because he has avesha in his body and Krishna is fulfilling the needs of his body.
Yeah, you can have very strong avesa, why not?
Okay.
It's like Dhruva, he wanted. So then he was absorbed. He saw Bhagwan in 6 months. But that does not mean that he can have more avesha than pure devotees.
Okay.
Because it's conditional. When his condition is satisfied, then avesha goes down. So that's why Sakam Bhakti cannot be as intense as Niskam Bhakti. Any other question?
I experienced during last few years that during COVID, taking precautions and how my mind is going to experience these situations. The people are dying, and also the crisis in the Ukraine. So my doubt is like question is like that: what quality of mind that even in starting it's observing that it's not good, means something like that, and after that it becomes natural, even bad thing.
वो थोड़ा हिंदी में बोल के बता दें.
मतलब कि जैसे कि होता है ना कि स्टार्टिंग में जैसे कोविड वगैरह था, प्रिकॉशन लेते थे, फिर धीरे धीरे बाद में उतना केयर नहीं करने लगे, फिर आदमी भी मर रहे थे. ठीक है, तो स्टार्टिंग में कुछ मरे तो एकदम पूरा लगता था कि अरे बहुत कुछ हो रहा है, कुछ मतलब
बाद में उतना डर नहीं रहता.
उसी तरह यूक्रेन में भी उसी तरह. ये मतलब मन का कैसा क्वालिटी है कि वो मतलब उसे हैबिचुअल हो जाते हैं.
So his question is that how his mind functions, that when COVID came, then people were more attentive and careful, and especially if somebody died, then you're very scared. As time passes, you become more relaxed and careless. So that is the nature of the mind, that certain things are natural, means you have natural liking for that, and then other things which are created because of the situation. So that's not your natural mood to be scared of this. Obviously you want to take care of your body, you don't want to die, so that is, you're afraid of that. But then you get used to situation, because you cannot keep that awareness all the time. And you also have things to do. Before COVID came, you had your lifestyle. Now COVID changes the lifestyle. But those things which you are doing before, you need to do those also. It's not that now you forget that and you have to only do. Plus you have your own habits, you have your own likes and dislikes. So you cannot just change everything just because of this fear. Fear makes you do things out of force, like stretching a rubber band, So you cannot, to keep the rubber band stretched, you need certain amount of power, but you can't do that all the time, so then it comes back. So after some time you see, well, I see not so many people are dying. So then you relax. This is mind's nature. You come to spiritual path, you are very enthusiastic and you do all the sadhana nicely. After some time you see, well, other people are not so much, and your enthusiasm goes down. Ganatarla. So that's how mind works.
So in that situation, mind is buddhi is overcome by the mind.
Buddhi is overcome by the mind. Buddhi is, and your mind is overcome by the previous samskaras, your habits. It's like if you get angry. I think that will be easier to understand. Suppose you get angry and you get very angry, and in that angry mood you leave home or you leave something and you like, I don't want to have any relationship with my family, this, that. Many times people do that, they go away from the family because of anger. But then after some time the anger comes down because anger is not your normal situation. So your normal life starts and then you start missing your family again and you start worrying, okay, what will be happening there? Then you come back. So I read one story in this Osho article I was reading. He was telling that he was a professor before he became Osho. He was professor in Sagar University.
In Jabalpur.
Jabalpur, yeah. So he said he had a neighbor, and neighbor was some Bengali Bhattacharya, and then one night the wall was common, they were husband and wife, they were fighting, and it was already like night time, and then husband got very angry and he said, I'm going to kill myself in front of the train, and then he's walking out. So all this time Osho was listening, and then he thought, this is too much, I must do something. So he came out and then he sees this Bhattacharya walking away with an umbrella. Because people who are from Calcutta, they have the habit like people from London to always walk with an umbrella. So he says, your husband is going, and he said he's going to commit suicide and you are not doing anything. And he said, no, don't worry, he does this all the time. And he said, but why is he carrying umbrella? He says, so that if some rain comes, he will protect. He said, he has got a habit of walking, he is going to come back. So he says he has done this many times. So she was not worried. And I mean, he tells the story in a very funny manner. But the point is that he in an angry mood, he is going away, and after some time his anger cools down and he comes back. So that's how it is.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'll stop.